Hello everybody, Jess here and welcome back to Shangri-La Frontier, episode 39. What was that brief lag spike? I don't know, hopefully it doesn't repeat. Episode 39 in which we will probably, I sure hope so, finish the fight with Lycagon. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen, or are they gonna give us another part of Something of Ambition is the title of this set of episodes. I can't quite recall. They could very well do that, right? Like, we know that Shangri-La Frontier can stretch their fights across many episodes. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, right? Those fights certainly don't feel like they are, stretched thin or anything of the sort, but still. Let's get it over with. Let's continue. I want to see the new expansion, especially after it's been teased in the opening. And I want to meet Roost. I want to meet Mold in their Shangri-La avatars and all that stuff. So hopefully Lycagon falls today. What happened in the previous episode? Let's start with that. In the previous episode, the fight continued. Ray Saiger Zero was on the brink of being defeated. Well, she basically was. Lycagon chomped down on her head, then just grabbed her body into its maw, and started, chewing on her. But thankfully, that was not, in fact, Ray. It was a wooden log substitution skill that Akitsu Akane. That Akitsu Akane possesses. She arrived indeed together with Emul and Sikru to save the day, and she did use that skill multiple times as well to save Rei. What else happened? They started juggling aggro between Sanraku and Rei. Rei managed to score enough hits with her special abilities to be able to channel that ultimate ability, but she's kind of defenseless during that time, so she must be protected by Sanraku and the gang. We know now the nature of the Lycagon, kind of sort, right? Sanraku figured that hitting Lycagon with melee weapons doesn't cause the pseudo-bleeding effect that other mobs have, where some red particles spawn off them. And so he told Emul to cast Mana Disruption, I believe was the spell, to cast Mana Disruption on Lycagon and see what happens. And Lycagon got a whole chunk of damage and a whole chunk of her body missing, and immediately switched aggro to Emul. So far, she's been aggroing on Rei all this time, on Saiger, completely ignoring Sanraku, essentially, but after being hit with that, she started targeting entirely Emul. So Rei is basically free to channel. And thus we know that Lycagon is a spiritual being, some sort of a ghost, some sort of a spirit, a wraith, something like that, which explains why she's able to, walk into the shadow and teleport and stuff like that a physical being would find hard to do. And thus we know what kind of abilities we should be using. So that's good. That's beneficial. Unfortunately, what's the name of that mechanical bird that Sanraku summoned? Suzaku. Yeah, Suzaku. Unfortunately, Suzaku is running out of battery. So soon enough, clouds will obstruct the moon, and Lycagon will get her full power back. So we are kind of on a timer. Sanraku does have a plan, though. He told Sikru and Akitsu Akane to protect Rei, and told Suzaku to stand down in power-saving mode. So he probably has some sort of a last hurrah planned, some sort of a way to finish Lycagon off. What else happened? Rei was very feeling very threatened by Akitsu Akane because, oh, that's a girl and she knows Sanarak. Where does she know him from? Is she his girlfriend or something? Is she also after him? Uh, Thankfully, Akitsu Akane clarified that she's been playing another game with Sanraku and she kind of treats him as a senpai, so that kind of placated Rei for now. We don't know how exactly the relationship between Sanraku and Akitsu Akane is going to develop. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, Rei will not have any reasons to feel threatened. We also got a big reveal. Big reveal, kind of predictable, especially after I looked into the voice actors. Akitsu Akane is indeed a dragonfly. So yeah, now we know that it's the same person, and they played Burp together, and she came to Shangri-La essentially looking for Sanraku. She's still under level. She's like level 40-ish or something, I believe, and she's been looking for Sanraku all this time, which is good because it's one thing when it's a complete stranger, complete random from Shangri-La that suddenly gets into your, unique scenario that you want to do yourself. It's another thing when it's someone you know, borderline friend, I would even say. So hopefully that will also alleviate some of Sanraku's worries, but we shall see about that. Anything else of import that happened? I can't quite recall anything else that would be super important in a previous episode. So how about we just start watching this one, right? Shall we? And to do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube, down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching Shangri-La Frontier, episode 39 in 3, 2, 1, go. Also, the timer should not be as blurry anymore. In a previous episode, I had the timer font set to like 50 something pixels and stretched, so it got blurry. Now I have the font set to like 200 pixels and shrunk a little bit, so it should be much more crisp. Also, since we're just getting a recap, as a side note, we had a seasonal stream not long ago. I think like 2 days ago or something, so you might want to check it out somewhere in the VODs on the channel. If you want to look at what I'm gonna be watching this season. Sure, absolutely. That's what gaming is about, right? You fail at doing something, you come back there. Maybe it was a skill issue, then you just try again. And again and again until you learn. Maybe it was a prep issue, so you go back, prepare, and go back. Maybe it was a gear issue, you go farm for better gear, right? That's what games of this sort are about. And opening. I really like the opening segment of this opening, the chorus, and this bit. Also, interesting how when everybody is shown here, there's also their like IRL person shown behind them. But when it was Sanaraku and the Emul, there were two people. One of them vaguely looked like Towa, Pencil Gun. Or it could be some developer of Shangri-La that actually plays Emul. I don't know, I just kind of got stuck with the idea that there's someone behind the scenes actually playing some of those NPCs or those enemies. All right. The like feast of whatchamacallit, impact frames. That was something in the previous episode as well. Very Chuni invocation, by the way. Yeah. There's an issue with that. Exactly. Safe to assume like a gun controls it to some degree. Can't maybe like Emul shoot a beam in the sky or something to disperse those clouds? And not just double, but Lycagon herself is also gonna be able to teleport. Yes. And Rei can't exactly dodge. So when a double appears out of the shadow, she's kind of fucked. Yeah, you gotta take the aggro. And hope that the doubles are gonna be focused on you instead of her summoning like 4 clones, one for each player. You're a team now. Yeah. It's not just Sanaraku. There's also Sikru, there's Akitsu Akane. Sikru should not have any issues hearing those doubles with ears like those. Good thing that Lycagon seems to completely forego like regular attacks in favor of just shadow clones. That's an interesting skill for a ninja. Just gigantic flamethrower. Hmm. Oh, okay. I thought that she might have got it from whatchamacallit? Zigwurm. Zigwurm. Okay, I get it. Depending on the strength of the dragon you learn the skill from, the strength of your skill also changes. That's cool. It's just a double though. So, okay, the double has been dispersed. Actually, a very useful skill though. Not only attacks, but also creates like a palisade to protect whoever's behind. I mean, it's kind of logical, isn't it? What do you use to disperse darkness? The. Imagine if you actually had to. I mean, it might actually work that way. Like, you have to actually memorize the, like, 2 minute long incantation to cast the skill. Like, it takes your microphone input and listens for any mistakes. There actually was a game. Can't remember the name. But there was a game where you played as a mage, and to cast spells, you actually had to say their name. Like, you had to actually chant to your microphone. Okay, no more shadow clones. At least for a while. Hmm. Oh. Oh, and is it gonna grow the other one as well? So it's gonna, like, skewer like a gun? No. Because he still has, like, one of those crystal spikes embedded somewhere in a wall, and he didn't recharge it. Kamikaze? Hmm. This pose. That's a classic. Oh, so the leg got actually cut off. Yeah, it's healing though. And the leg is back. Oh. Oh, so that wasn't your ultimate. What is then? Oh. Well, that's a very interesting weapon for a fight with Lycagon. Big Blast or something? Big Blast. Oh, that looks cool. That looks cool. God damn it. uh, that's a skill and a half, isn't it? Hmm. Just don't miss. Just don't miss. Okay, so sending Suzaku up into the sky had like a dual purpose, both to weaken Lycagon and to get enough moonlight to charge Gilta Bril or Beta Grill or whatever that weapon is called. Hmm. Is Ray's ultimate even gonna be needed now? Also curious if this attack has like a moonlight attribute or something that would deal additional damage to like a gun. Lowers the whatchamacallit, uh Yeah, breaks the weapon, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, that didn't seem to have been enough. Just don't take full damage now, because you have 1 HP. Do you have mana? Right, you would just die in Inventoria. Don't you have your mobility skills though? Or that also works, yeah. Just yank him back to safety. Yeah, you're a team! Don't forget that, Sanraku. I know you're used to playing alone, but now you're a team. Okay, so her skill is gonna be useful after all. Okay. What does she have in store? Yeah. I really thought they're gonna do the funny and just have Sanraku finish Lakugan off. So the whole chant and everything was just unnecessary. Huh? Okay, it's one of those skills that, like, for a moment seems completely, unassuming. Oh, that looks dope. Oh, that looks so cool. God damn it. Oh, that looks great. Don't ever PvP her. Ah. Be grateful she's in love with you and not Yandere. Shit. Yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch. It did. Calling it now. It ate Sanraku's ultimate, it ate Rei's ultimate, and it's still up. Holy shit. It did some serious damage, but yeah, Lycaon is still up. Oh? You got some idea? Like what, Lycagon is on 1 HP and all it's gonna take is one hit to finish it off? Or... Oh, it's despawning, isn't it? Second phase? Second phase. Okay, prepare for another 4 episodes of the Lycagon fight. What exactly happened? Is it your win? Is it a despawn? Did Lycagon simply bail? Or did it, like, change the world state, and now Lycagon will no longer appear, but Lycagon Prime is gonna start appearing instead? Oh, yeah, battle is done. Yeah, they won. Yeah, apparently. Okay, so just like encounter rewards. Shadow Wolf Revealer. I wonder if that... Oh, you gotta beat Lycagon once, and then you get the tools that allow you to really beat Lycagon, right? Yeah, Wolf Revealer to reveal the actual Lycagon, and some sort of a light spell to damage her. Yeah, the face in the sky was the real form. Yeah? Exactly. You can flaunt that title. Uh, yeah? It was almost like a date, wasn't it? True. Yeah. You did beat the version of Lycagon that beat you. Works out perfectly. Yeah, I'm curious. Oh. Is it vanishing? Or is it growing stronger? Mm-hmm. Does it, though? Something tells me not quite. Again, like, this is a key design part of Sanraku's character. It can't just go away. Yeah, it's gonna grow stronger. It's gonna give you a bigger stat boost, but it's not going away. Oh, are you getting a pet? Or you're getting Vord? That was another outcome that I thought it might be. Oh, and that's the episode. Uh, I'm assuming Sanraku is gonna get transported into some sort of pocket dimension or something, where maybe he's gonna be given a selection of buffs or something, or the ability to dispel the mark from one of his body parts, or something like that. I thought it was a pet that he's just gonna get now, but no, he got swallowed by a puppy like a gun. That works. I really like the idea of a boss that you have to defeat once, and then you get whatever you need to really defeat that boss. That's cool. Seems to me like for the next part of that adventure, they're gonna join forces with Roost and Mold, and we're gonna be following them as a team for a while. And that is Toa and Kei. They were walking there with two more people, and they were walking towards someone. Sanraku? Maybe? IRL? I don't know. Let us see this episode again. That's what I do know. So, embrace the lamplight of ambition. Wherein wasn't the title before like embrace the light of ambition? I don't know. Yeah, if we give it our all and it's still not enough, let's rerun this idea with a smile. Exactly. That's what gaming is all about. You get completely bodied by something, you get better. Or you get better gear. Or you get better stats. Or you respec. And then you go back and you try again. Right? It's the trial and error that's a big chunk of fun here. And Sanaraku understands it. That's cool. Or he was reminded of it by Rei, kinda sorta, right? Like he was already kinda spiraling into the whatchamacallit, like politics between clans and guilds and stuff like that, but Rei reminded him of what fun is, and that games should be fun in the first place. Sanraku still has all of his marks here, so I don't think any of them are going away. But yeah, see, there is Sanraku to the left. Oh no, that's Rakuro to the right. I thought that this might be some like other person, the way that there is Towa Amane behind Pencil Gun. But behind Sanaraku, there is Sanaraku and there is Rakuro. Yeah, and there is Kei behind. I can never remember his in-game name. Uh, his IRL name is Uomi Kei. Yeah, I give up. I like pretty much all of this opening, besides I think this bit. Musically, yeah, a little bit like not fully with the rhythm speaking and like weird melody in the background. But this bit with chorus, the ha he, ha ho, ha he, and rap in the front, that's cool. That I really do enjoy. That's a big chant. And yeah, Saraku got very much used to being a loner, right? To playing just alone without anybody else. So his first instinct is let's run away and kite and maybe lose aggro and then come back and try to attack from by surprise or right stuff like that. He briefly forgot that there's Rei that you kind of gonna have to worry about and you're gonna have to protect her. But he did remember. Mm. Yeah, it's really a good thing that Lycagon doesn't attack in regular ways while the clones are out. because they would be kind of screwed. Some really nice bits of animation in this scene with Akitsu Akane. Yeah, some really nice like camera things, a bit of foreshortening here, camera like zooming onto her. Really cool eyes. And again, really cool camera work in this one scene. I was expecting a blow of air, not a scream, right? Like, I was expecting a... Not a, you know, what she did. But I guess that also works. Ryu Ibuki. One of the randomly determined hidden techniques that can be acquired in a training quest needed to learn the ninja job. The breath of a dragon vividly recalled by the wielder. Yeah. And she met a really strong dragon, and so she vividly recalls a very strong dragon breath. Makes perfect sense. Very cool skill on Sikru. Bamboo that can both damage and protect. He's gonna be a fun addition to the team, I feel. I think I'm gonna enjoy him a little bit more than I did, what's his face? Aramis. Yeah. Aramis was a little bit grating at times. Sikru so far, I mean, so far he's barely a character, so... But because he's so inoffensive, that's why I don't mind him. The twin-faced demon now stretches its hand further, seeking greater extremes. The great foe who treads before me on my path of conquest. That's an incantation and a half. And yeah, Sanraku apparently also has some sort of an ultimate. I thought he's only able to grow the spike that he launched, but apparently he can also cause crystals to grow out of whatever he's striking. He doesn't need to launch a projectile beforehand, which is good. And Mana Shaker still does a lot of damage, which, now that we know more about Lycagon, tells us that it's not necessary that Lycagon is actually a spiritual or, you know, some sort of a ghost monster. Rather that the enemy they were fighting was created by magic, right? Through Lycagon's mana. It's a magical construct, and thus it's susceptible to Mana Shaker. Cool. Cool. I really like how everything is, you know, coming into place this way. Right? So many things that we had no idea why they work that way, how they work that way, right? Like, how's Lycagon able to heal herself this quickly? How's she able to just jump through shadows, basically disappear, right? Yeah, because it's just a construct, and whoever created her can just, you know, control her however she pleases. And the real Lycagon can just make this apparition disappear and reappear, and it's no biggie, right? She has full control of it. That would also, I guess, explain why this Lycagon can appear in multiple places. Assuming Lycagon is the night, or is one with the night, or whatever, wherever there is night, Lycagon can spawn. This Lycagon, at least, right? And one last hurrah from Suzaku. That's also a cool shot. With Emul. She's so fucking cute. I wonder if there are any like plushies of her. There's gotta be. Giltabril. Yeah, Giltabril. I gotta remember that. Charge up mana through exposure to moonlight. Basically, kind of, sort of like, maybe not ultimate anti-Lycagon weapon, but because Lycagon obscures moonlight, right? So Giltabril would not be an optimal weapon. But if you are fighting Lycagon optimally, meaning you find some way to keep the moon exposed, at the same time it can charge Giltabril. So if you're playing the Lycagon fight good, Giltabril rewards you additionally. Cool. I don't know if that was the purpose, but maybe it was actually. Right? Like Sanraku went on this whole quest by being marked by Lycagon. He got a bunch of materials, which was, I mean, kind of random that he decided to just kill those scorpions. He wasn't really sent there or anything. But he did bring those parts to a member of Rabituza, and as we know, Rabituza deals with all those world monsters or colossi or whatever they're called. And so it would make sense that B would craft a weapon that is good against Lycagon, right? Like, it would make sense from a narrative standpoint. You're going through a quest, your next mission is defeating some sort of a big bad boss. It makes sense for one of the NPCs in this quest, or whoever else, to give you something that will help you in that boss fight. If that's what it is, that's cool. If it's a complete coincidence, I mean, that's also cool. That looks really cool. Reminds me a lot of the wings of Seraphim from Sacred. There was like, usually the Seraphim had like steel wings on her back as equipment, but you could get, can't remember if it was a unique or just one of the models of it, but wings that were just like a little backpack, and they had like 6 or 8 or however many light beams protruding from it with physics, and that was cool. Once a week usage breaks the weapon and requires a lot of charge. Yeah, fair to say that it's an ultimate attack, for sure. And damage is relative to the amount of mana stored. And just like that, I really thought that Sanraku is just going to vaporize Lycagon now, and Rei will not have to cast her spell, and maybe it's even gonna become like a running gag that she's preparing to cast that spell, and she never does because it just takes so long that the fight is done before she manages to cast it, and we, the viewers, never get to see it. But no, not quite. Not quite. Lycagon was able to withstand it. Sanraku's weapon broke, at least partially. I think it's just the crystals that shattered. So presumably, if you kill the golden scorpion again and a bunch of smaller crystal scorpions, you can bring the parts to B, and she's gonna fix it. Hopefully, I mean, it's a cool weapon. Caster takes hefty recoil damage, and he's on 1 HP. And again, he defaults to the thinking of a solo player, right? Unless I can avoid a collision, it's gonna be curtains for me either way, and he's thinking of what he can do. Escape to Inventoria, or maybe do this, or maybe do that. What to do? Oh, there are other people around me, teammates that can help me. And they do indeed. They do help him indeed. And Rei's cast animation is like something else. I am Satanel in heaven, I am Satan in hell. I guess Satanel and Satan. Behold the chaos wrought by those two united faces. Right, so kinda sort of what I was assuming. Both her light powers and her dark powers combined, striking the enemy. I thought briefly that the spell just fizzled out or something. That maybe Lycagon has some sort of a cancel ability that they didn't bait out and it was able to use it here. Or that maybe the fight is just done. The sun is rising and Lycagon despawns and all the effects and everything just just gets removed or something like that. But no. It's one of the skills that is like, or so I thought, that it's gonna be one of the skills that are unassuming, kind of like Ichigo's Bankai in Bleach, right? Where first he wields the big ass, huge ass fucking sword, and then he gets a Bankai and it's just a fucking katana, and it's no biggie. It's like it's arguably worse than his main weapon, but it has some serious firepower behind it, and I thought it might be something like that. But no, no, the skill is something else. It's something else, alright. I thought it might be a summon, like summoning the fucking Satan himself. But no, it's a bunch of really cool effects with this like kind of sketchy painterly quality to them. Really sells that like otherworldly feel of this ability. And again, yeah, fuck it. Impact frames galore is what I wanted to say, but my mouth ran ahead of my brain to do that. So many cool impact frames. I love how, just in those impact frames, mind you, she briefly gets wings. That's such a cool detail. That happens for like 2 frames, and you could absolutely miss it, but it's so freaking cool. And the effects they're applying to it, inverted and then back to regular color, then inverted again, right? The light and dark side both kind of switching and then merging into a black and white environment with a bunch of chromatic aberration on the edges, and then that inverted because it's still the black and white fighting each other but also merging in her sword and dealing that one final blast. It's such a cool bit of animation, even from like a narrative standpoint. It really explains what this skill is. And I love this in particular. This style to her. It really somehow manages to sell the power of this skill, doesn't it? It's kind of like when sometimes in shows they do the thing where a character does a Biden blast or whatever, and the character that's hit by it gets suddenly like lower and lower quality, right? First they lose the entire color and their character just becomes the line art, then the line art just becomes a sketch, right? And then the sketch just becomes disorderly lines. That's like a meta way kinda to sell just the power of it, where it breaks the fourth wall, and it not only destroys the character in the world, but it also destroys them in our world, right? The character drawn on the screen loses all the properties of it. Cool. It is one hell of a move. Apparently exhausting to Rei, and of not much effect to Lycagon. Or Lyca clone. This is true Lycagon. Night herself. Smiling at them. Worthy challengers have been found. Especially Sanraku. I thought that maybe they were just too late. They took too long with that fight, and the Lycagon simply despawned. Again, kinda like Eidolons in Warframe on Plains of Eidolon. It's the absolute worst feeling when you're fighting the third Eidolon in a series, and you're just about to finish it off, but then it just starts walking away and slowly going underground because the day is rising and it just goes away. Yeah, I really thought it's gonna be something like that, something this fucking frustrating. I expected maybe a second phase, but no, not quite. Or rather, I would say it's a delayed second phase. Mm. Title Shadow Wolf Revealer acquired. We know that titles matter, right? Rei's title of Battle Master is what allows her to cast this skill, I think. Pencilgon's title of a hero allows her to wield that one spear that she used once, right? Shadow Wolf Revealer perhaps will make further fights with Lycagon easier by, for example, allowing them to see the clones as they traverse. So they are no longer invisible. They still, appear and happen, but they can see where they are before they emerge from the shadows. I should put that bottle somewhere else. Or maybe get rid of it, because as much as I really like the Hartridge's root beer, I don't know if keeping the bottle is worth it. Where is it? There it is. Shadow Wolf Revealer. Shadow Wolf Revealer. Title is important in defeating Lycagon. So is Guiding Light status. I thought initially that Guiding Light is a spell, and that you might be able to use it in the fight with Lycagon, right? Instead of instead of trying to reveal the moon, you could just cast Guiding Light, and that would have the same effect for a brief period of time. Together with Shadow Wolf Revealer, both of them would make the fight much easier. But Guiding Light is a special status. So I don't know what would it be able to do. I mean, the name Guiding Light kind of implies that maybe you create a mode of light and it guides you, right? Kind of like enabling a GPS in a game or whatever, right? You enter Lycagon spawn point, press enter, and the Guiding Light appears and leads you to the Lycagon spawn point or something like that. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But the title is for sure significant. And then we also get this. Bonus unique scenario, Light of Courage Banishing the Dark. Yeah, so they also got, I'm assuming all of them got this bonus unique scenario. And Kay still hasn't gotten any. Yeah, all of them got this unique scenario. Cool. Cool. They're gonna be able to go on this adventure together. Yeah, it was not the real form. It was just a proxy. And yeah, the rewards. Something is going on with the mark for sure. Lycagon's mark. Equipment cannot be equipped to the body part afflicted with Lycagon's mark. Yeah. Monsters of lower level than the afflicted character will flee. Yeah. Conversations with NPCs will be affected by the presence of Lycagon's mark. Yeah. The afflicted body part gains resistance to magic effects. Yeah. The curse can be removed through the prayers of a saint or the defeat of the curse's caster. Was it actually the Lycagon's clone who cast this curse, though? Or was it the real Lycagon? My cat is meowing somewhere, but I can't see her. Mark was cast by true Lycagon, not wolf form. That's how I'm gonna say it. And so Sanraku is gonna have to fight the real Lycagon to finally get rid of the mark. But now I'm going to assume, well, something is clearly happening to his mark, so clearly something happening to his status, his progression through the quest, yada yada yada. It's probably, if I were to bet, it's probably going to be some sort of an evolution of this mark. Maybe first it gives you like spell resistance, magic resistance. Maybe now it's gonna give you more resistance. Or maybe it's gonna give like I don't know, +5 armor per body part afflicted or something like that, right? If I were designing a game like that, that's how I would do it, where you can take steps to make this mark less and less and less of a burden to help you eventually fight the final battle when you're in, good state, when you don't necessarily even need armor because your curse is simply so, helps you so much. But I wonder, I really thought that this is gonna be either a pet that Sanaku can order around, maybe like a whatchamacallit, maybe a little bit. Uh, what's the word I want to use here? The best word that comes to my mind is bratty, of all things. I'm thinking like uh, Charizard in early Pokemon with Ash kind of sort of deal, right? Something like that, maybe. Or, Sanaku wants to ride it, rides it up into the sky, and then the wolf just puffs away. Sanaku falls down, and the wolf just giggles, or, this kind of deal. I thought maybe. But no. It's apparently a portal to the Lycagon dimension or something through being Vord. Makes sense. Yeah, seems to me that it's gonna be our trio right now, right? Rei, Akitsu Akane, Sanaraku, plus Sikru, plus Emul, of course, and that's gonna be green hair is Mold, and short blue hair is probably Rust. And they're gonna go through the expansion, maybe. Or at least they're gonna fight or find the Leviathan scenario. That's my bet. Meanwhile, it seems like we have Toa Amane, we have Kei Uomi, and two people that I do not recognize walking with them. The dude on the left seems to be wearing like a kitsune mask or something like that. I don't know. And then there's a girl on the left. The girl on the left, didn't she appear in the opening briefly? Those are people from the opening, aren't they? Those are absolutely people from the opening. Yeah, that's her, there on the left. Yeah. Even the hat, right? That checks out. I'm assuming that's the dude in a mask in the ending. Maybe he's like an IRL luchador or something. And that's the girl on the very right. Right? With very, very characteristic hair. Yeah. Those are the people that Towa and Kei are meeting up with. I wonder if there's gonna be some sort of a either there's gonna be some sort of a esports subplot where maybe Toa and Rei have to stop playing Shangri-La for a while because they're preparing for an esport tournament or something, or they're doing IRL recruiting for their guild or something like that. Toa is scheming something. That one thing I'm absolutely 100% certain of. I just don't know what. But maybe, my current theory, those three other people are esports players, and Toa wants to recruit them through Kei, who knows people in esports, wants to recruit them to start playing Shangri-La to join to join Wolfgang, to grow their clan, their guild stronger through only inviting the best. That's my current theory. Toa tries recruiting esports players through Kei's connections to join Wolfgang. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if that fucking schemer did exactly that. We'll see though. We'll see in future episodes. But right now, that's gonna be it for this episode, for episode 39. It was fun. It sure was fun. We got some really nice eye candy with that attack that Ray did. That looked so cool. I really enjoyed that. And I really like the narrative implications of that attack, where you were able, or at least, I don't know, maybe I was just tripping balls, but I was able to tell how what's happening on the screen works narratively with what this skill probably is. Right? That was cool. I really enjoyed that. And those 2 frames of wings. Such a tiny little thing, but so impactful once you notice. I really like the resolution of it. I was really worried what's gonna happen after this fight, because for all we know, fight with Lycagon, Sanraku wins, Sanraku gets rid of the mark. Simple. But he can't get rid of the mark, right? It's his most characteristic bit, besides maybe the helmet, the bird mask, right? So, getting rid of his nakedness would, like, what would you do with all the merch, all the figurines produced? Would you release same figurines, but now he's wearing armor? Not really. What about the posters? What about the, I don't know, key art? What about all those things? It wouldn't really work from like a meta standpoint. So we couldn't really get rid of his mark. And I don't think they will get rid of his mark at any point. I really think that his mark is gonna keep evolving, and even after Sanraku finally fights the true Lycagon and defeats her, and he's given a choice between dispelling the mark or making it stronger, maybe like absorbing the strength of Lycagon into it or something, he's gonna pick the latter. He's gonna do some calculations in his head, and he's gonna figure out that for his playstyle, the buffs that the mark offers are much better than whatever any sort of armor could offer. I think it's gonna go that way. But right now, I really was afraid what are they gonna do. I thought, well, obviously, Lycagon's gonna despawn. They're not gonna finish the fight. It's gonna feel a little bit, unfulfilling and a little bit blue bally for sure, because it was such a hype battle, and it's gonna get concluded by what? Lycagon despawning? It would be very anticlimactic, but it would let Sanraku retain his mark, right? Are we gonna do a thing where he wins against the Lycagon, but it doesn't get rid of his mark somehow because the description lied or whatever? It wouldn't work well, right? Because the steps were already established, and changing the rules of the game mid-game wouldn't feel good. It would feel very cheap. It would feel like the writer rode themselves into a corner and they have to find some way out. The way they did it, though, works perfectly well to me. Really. It really works well that they defeated one of the Lycagons, but they did not defeat the Lycagon. And they still have to find that Lycagon first of all, and then win against it. Right? They had so much trouble against just a mere clone or a proxy or whatever. How hard is gonna be the real deal? Right? And so, it stands to reason that Sanraku is gonna keep his mark. Maybe it's gonna evolve somehow, maybe it's gonna grow stronger, maybe it's gonna give him another debuff. That would also be interesting if every step closer he gets to the real Lycagon, his mark gives him a buff and a debuff. That would be cool. That would be a very cool mechanic. I'm reminded of, I think it was Shotgun King. Yeah, little indie game, really fun little indie game, Shotgun King, where every fight, once you win it, you can pick one of the 2 options, and each option gives you a buff and gives your enemy a buff. And you can choose between 2 sets of them, and that's really cool, something unique. It's not only you who grows stronger, in a way that you want, and your enemy grows stronger through scaling, through whatever the developer decided, but you can choose what buffs the enemy gets. And that would be cool if in this situation Saraku also got a debuff and a buff. Maybe to choose from, maybe like, ahead of time, like he gets minus 20% to healing received, but gets +5 speed, or whatever, something like that. I will be waiting where Sanraku's Vor adventures take him and what's actually gonna be the outcome of it. I wonder if he's gonna get sent to like another pocket dimension-y kind of town, right? Like Rabituza but for wolves. Something like that. That would be cool. I don't know. Or maybe he's gonna get sent to Rabituza. Or maybe he's gonna get sent where Vash is. That could also work. Maybe Vash tried to fight Lycagon for whatever reason, or went to talk to it or something, and got swallowed up. And that's why he's not around, and Sanaku is gonna rescue him. Could also work. I don't know. It really surprised me what happened, so I don't really have any like super good and realistic sounding ideas. So I guess we'll see what's gonna happen exactly, right, in the future. But right now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that, in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Shangri-La, but also others from the new season, among them House MD, Anime Girl, and others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live. We had the seasonal stream, you might want to check out the VOD and to get notified of future streams and future releases. As I said, click the bell. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing and helps the channel an awful lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Zarainer, Dr. Watt, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to be swallowed up by a dog.